3.5 still here. We're going to go on to example 2 down here, and it's a construction worker repairing a window, tossing a tool to his partner across the street. The height of the tool above the ground is modeled by this little quadratic formula or quadratic function. So we've got this here. This is the equation. H is the height in meters, T is the time in seconds. How high above the ground is the window? If his partner misses the tool, when will it hit the ground? And how would the question change if you were asked to find when it's 10 meters above the ground? So there's a whole bunch of questions. Yes? Okay. So there's a whole bunch of questions. So let's first of all figure out what I'm picturing. So I like to do a kind of a little diagram on the side if I'm given a situation, just so I can picture what's happening. Okay? Doesn't have to be great, just something on the side. So I'm going to just draw over here. So I have a construction worker repairing a window, tossing a tool. So we have a building. So I'm just going to do it here on this side. I have a building, and there's the ground, and tossing a tool to his partner across the street. So first of all, let's just question the fact that we have a construction worker in this building tossing a tool across the street to his friend. Apparently, across this, where's the friend? In another building? Let's just pause on this and think, don't do it. So just first of all, just don't. And then we don't have a question, and then there's no quadratic, and we can all go home. Anyway, but yeah, no tossing of tools across the street, who, by the way, misses the tool. So, and then we're going to go, no, so where was the partner in the scenario? Yeah, so this whole scenario is not a good one. So first of all, there's a life lesson to be learned that you shouldn't toss a tool or chairs from a window. You know, that whole thing. No, you don't toss. Anyway, makes a good, nice little arc. So this is what's happening, apparently. Window, woo, boom, missing. Modeled by, so H height in meters, so H is height, T is time in seconds. How high above the ground is the window? So we want to know where this person is here. So which window, and how high above that ground is, right? So that's our first question. So let's start with A. So for A, we're going to say, how high above the ground? So to find how high above the ground is the window, that's the starting point. For my starting point, when the starting point of this function is going to be when t equals 0. I do my t's with the little tail, right? So you notice that just so it looks like not plus, right? So my time is 0. So I want to do h at, so this is my thought process. You don't have to write this. This is my brain. Okay? What I want you to write, though, for your answer is going to be h at, I'm writing my answer starting here on the left side because I don't know how much room I'll need for the rest of it. Okay? So try not to start your question. I notice some people, you're starting your question in the middle, but you don't know how long it is, and then you're like, oh, crap, I'm going both sides, right? So I always start my question on the left side, and if I have extra blank space there, I can use it. If I don't, it's okay. I just look like I've started at the margin. Right? So if you don't start in the middle, then you kind of run out of less room. So I start to do that, especially you guys, your questions are getting longer, right? So start on the left side. So I'm going to start it here. So what I want you to write down, you don't have to write this, h at 0. Okay, so tell me, I'm plugging in 0 for time because I want to start it there. So I'm going to put that in. So -5, 0 squared, 20 times 0 plus 25. So plug that right in. Okay, 0 times anything is 0, so you know that's gone and that's gone. So that's just going to equal 25. Yes, if you can do that faster, I know someone's going to be, can I skip those steps? Yes, you can go h at 0 equals 25. Some people go, but I can see it's 0, 0. So yes, you can skip to there, that's fine. So this one, I'll let you go to that answer. Okay, if you want. If not, show the steps. Okay, I always want anything with words, answer with words back. No symbols in your answer. No symbols, not equals in the answer, so words. If you're not sure, a quick sentence is never wrong. Right? So if you're like, should I put an answer? You can do it yourself. Okay? So I'm going to say, therefore, the window is 25. What do I need? Meters. Good. Meters above ground. How high above the ground? So above ground. There you go. Okay, so that's one. So we're done that one, and then we're going to move on to the next question. So B. So for B, I'm putting lines just so you can see where my questions turn in. You don't have to be this neat. I'm just for my for my notes for you. Okay, so for B, if his partner misses the tool, I don't know where he was aiming for, when will it hit the ground? Right, so when will it hit the ground? So I want to know this. So I want to know, so in my brain I go, wait, what are you asking? I'm asking something about the equation. You know there's an H and a T. I'm either giving you a T and you're finding the H, or I'm giving you an H and you're finding the T. Think about this. If his partner misses a tool, when I'm finding the T. Does that make sense? I'm looking for T. When will it hit the ground? So what did I give you then? I gave you hit the ground. Hit the ground means H equals 0. And I'm looking for T when H equals 0. So break it down. I'm given the H is 0, and I want to find T. Okay, so that's how you break down the question. So go back to your equation right here, and we're going to sub in 0 for the height. 0 for the height. Okay, 0 for the height, and then you're going to find T. So negative 5t squared 20t plus 25. Okay, so we want to solve this, right? Still no vertex. We have no vertex in this question. We're not looking for max min. So tell yourself, I'm solving for t, no vertex. No vertex anything right now. We're concentrating on just solving. Okay, I can solve this using the quadratic formula. I can also try to simplify it. When it equals 0, we are allowed to divide by numbers. Both sides can be divided by negative 5. I'm going to factor it. So how about I factor it and do it this way? So negative 5 factors out t squared minus 4t minus 5. Look at that. Then you have two different choices. You can divide both sides by the negative 5. Some people go, oh, can I divide by negative 5? Yeah, you can. That goes away to 0. Some people leave it. That's okay as well. So if you left it, right, so do you see how you can divide? Okay, and if you go, I'm not sure if I would have divided, that's okay. You can leave it. So we'll pretend you went, oh, I didn't see that, and I left it. That's okay. So either way is okay. You would do this and factor this. That's much easier than quadratic formula, but you can use quadratic formula. If you're like, no, quadratic formula is my fave, go ahead and use it. You should still get to the answer. What's my t going to be? Yeah. That's it. And yes, you can go straight to, so you can say, therefore, t is 5 and negative 1. You don't have to show me the step between. Yeah.
Is it only the positive one?
That's exactly it. So then the next question, can it be positive and negative? Sometimes it can be positive and negative, like if I'm saying, what are the integers? In this case, I can't reverse time, right? So think of the building. T equals 0, we talked about that here. That's when you first threw the tool, right? So that can't be negative. So time, so you cross it off and say not negative or not neg, okay? Yeah, so you're over here. So that makes no sense. It's before you even got to the window. So negative time doesn't work, right? So you look at the scenario. Time cannot be negative. Time just can't be negative. That's usually just a no-no. So we go, nope, time can't be negative. So then I only have one answer. So then you're going to say, therefore, it will hit the ground at 5 seconds. Yeah, you can put S or you can write seconds, but I need the units. Okay, so we're always going to remember the units. No little half marks lost, okay? So seconds, you can write seconds or put S. Okay, and then again, I'm just doing this with a ruler so that you have neat notes to look at when you look at mine. And we're doing C now. So I had oodles of room here, right? So C, I didn't need to do this one. So C, so hit the ground. That's hit the ground, that's starting point. Now what have we got? Okay, how would the question change if you were asked to find when it's 10 meters above the ground? Yes.
I'm sorry, can I just ask?
Yes.
So I did it with the
Quadratic formula, yep.
Yeah. I know.
This one?
So I think somebody actually asked, right? Like, how do you know if it's plus or minus?
Yes.
And you said that it can't be negative, which is obviously. But what if it was a number that like wouldn't go into negatives? Like if it was like 15 plus or minus 3. Like how would you know if you subtract 3 or add 3?
Sorry, so you use the quadratic formula, and then what did you...
So I got 2 plus or minus 3.
Okay, 2 plus or minus 3. So then that breaks down to 2 questions. That's 2 plus 3 or 2 minus 3. So remember, when you use the quadratic formula,
Right.
yeah, 2 separate ones. So you should still get, right? You should still get 5, and then here you're going to get -1. Yes,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So when you use the quadratic formula, you get up to here, and yep, you get there. Yes, you should still get the same answer, and then you still get to cross off the negative. Yes, perfect. Okay, good. All right, so quadratic formula would have got up to here, and you get your 2 answers. Good? You're welcome. And, all right, back here. Yeah, yep, stop me with questions. So C, how would the question change if I asked when it's 10 meters above ground? So here I asked you hits the ground, right? Hits ground. Hits ground means H equals 0, right? So that was H equals 0 for hits ground. This part here was start. How would I say? How? Yeah, so starting, so this is my start point, right? So when I first threw it out the window. What if I said 10 meters above the ground? Yeah, what would I do? Yes. So H would be 10. So if it says 10 meters above the ground, that's saying H is 10. So I'm looking for 10 meters above the ground, which would somewhere maybe be here. Who knows? Maybe it's 2 spots. Who knows? It could be 2 answers.
Do you need us to actually like solve for 10?
No, I was just asking, yeah, how? How would it change? So then you're going to answer. So I would say, I would set, how would the question change? I would set equation equal to 10. And then I would show. So with math, it's kind of nice. So I would say 10 equals, and I would do -5t squared plus 20t plus 25. So if you're ever unsure, you can also go, see, look, I would do that. That's what I would do. Instead of setting equal to 0, like when it hits the ground, I set it equal to 10. I could get 2 answers or 1 answer. Who knows? Right? One could be negative, one might be negative positive, or I can get 2 positive answers. Who knows? But I didn't ask you to solve, I just asked you how you would change the question. So you do that, and then to answer it, I would bring it over, set it equal to 0, and continue answering it, right? So that's how you do it. Okay, any other questions? Yeah?
So, if you were asked to find when it starts 10 meters above the ground,
Mm-hmm.
like, why do you put it on the left instead of setting T to 10? Oh, wait, because T is time.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's why. So you have to keep talking to yourself. Am I finding time or am I finding height? And it's those 2 variables. It's constantly the 2 variables because you go back and forth between 1, 0, 1. Look, these are 2 zeros. One goes in for time, one in one for height. And that's why I was showing you the difference, right? T0 time, H0 is for the height. So you got to talk to yourself. Am I finding time or am I finding height? Which one do I have? So it goes there. Then you would bring it over, 0 equals, etc., right? And solve it that way. But yeah, you have to know if you're finding T or H. And that's the conversation you want to have in your brain. Am I given height or am I given time? Because look at those 2. That's the contrast. Time is 0, starting point. H is 0, hitting the ground. Right? So this is always the conversation. In your head, you go, wait, which one's 0? And I always get the wrong one. People put 10 in for the time, not the height. People put in 0. So you got to talk to yourself. Which one is it, time or height? Am I finding time? Am I given height? Am I given height? Am I finding time? Okay, that's the question.